The first time a rifle met my shoulder, it felt less like equipment and more like a test. My fingers brushed the stock, and a nervous thrill ran through me. Half eagerness, half restraint. And what I'm holding today isn't the usual answer everybody defaults to. Behind the matte finish and the iron sights, there's a story of design, of choices, and of compromises most folks never notice. There's a reason the AR-15 became the default, but there's also a reason other rifles keep showing up in the hands of soldiers, ranchers, and detectives. They solve problems the AR never bothered to fix. If you care about what's under the hood, how a short-stroke gas piston whispers a secret the AR won't, or why a cold hammer forged 16 inches barrel matters the moment the sky goes dark, you're in the right place. Meet me in the next 30 seconds and I'll show you what rifle I'd trust when everything else goes quiet. And why. Stay close. IWI Carmel feels like a rifle built by people who expect dust, heat, and long days. Then tuned for folks like us who buy our own ammo. Under the hood, it runs a short-stroke gas piston with a rotating bolt, which means the dirty gas stays out of the receiver and the action keeps its rhythm when lesser guns cough. Chambered in 5.56 NATO, the Carmel ships with a 16-inch, cold hammer forged, chrome-lined, free-floating barrel, the trifecta that gives you service life, corrosion resistance, and steadier groups. Controls are fully ambi, safety, mag release, bolt catch, and a non-reciprocating charging handle you can set up left or right, so the rifle doesn't care which shoulder you shoot from. What you notice first, in your hand, is the structure steel and aluminum where it counts, high-impact polymer where weight would just slow you down. The two-position gas regulator flips to a suppressed setting without drama, and the top Picatinny rail runs nose-to-tail for optics plus night kit, while M-Lock at 3/6/9 o'clock takes lights and grips without turning the forend into a cheese grater. Fold the stock and you're down to 26. 75 inches for vehicles and tight doors. Open it up to 37. 25 inches for full sight radius and a better cheek weld. Unloaded weight sits around 8 pounds 2 ounces, which lands in that sweet spot where recoil stays honest, but the rifle doesn't fight you. If your mission profile says reliable first, easy to live with second, the Carmel earns a spot on the short list. It's a clean-running, field-serviceable answer for anyone who wants AR-level familiarity with a tougher stomach for bad conditions, and a rifle you can hand to a buddy without a 20-minute brief. Robinson Armament. XCR-L. The XCR-L is what happens when somebody asks for AK grit with AR manners and actually ships it. You get a long serviceable, piston-driven action with a 3-lug rotating bolt and a 5-position gas system, so the rifle runs clean and lets you tune recoil impulse to the ammo, the weather, or the can on the muzzle. It eats standard AR-15 magazines, which means your existing pouches and logistics don't change, but your manual of arms gets simpler thanks to ambidextrous safety, bolt, and mag release. Where it really separates from an AR is mission flexibility with a barrel bolt swap. The XCR-L can move from 5.56 by 45 to 7.62 by 39, 5.45 by 39, 6.8 SPC, 300 BLK, or 6.5 Grendel, and do it without turning your bench into a garage sale. Pick your barrel from 10, 5 to 20, and set the rifle up for truck duty, training days, or distance work. The top Picatinny rail stays square to the trunnion, so your optics track true. And the M-LOK forend gives you space for a white light and a hand stop without turning the front end into a cinder block. If your checklist starts with reliability and ends with adaptability, this is the grown-up answer that doesn't force you to leave the AR ecosystem behind. Springfield Hellion, VHS. 2. If you've ever tried to swing a 16-inch rifle inside a pickup or a tight hallway, the Hellion feels like cheating. It's a bullpup, so the action sits behind the trigger, which keeps a 16th barrel but trims overall length to about 28. 25. That means real velocity and a softer report without the parking meter muzzle. Inside, it runs a short-stroke gas piston with 2 settings, which keeps carbon out of the receiver and makes suppressed use drama-free. Controls are friendly to real people, ambidextrous safety, ambi charging, QD points for your sling, And reversible ejection so left-handed shooters don't have to eat brass. Up top, you've got a full Picatinny rail with integrated flip-up sights. Out front, you've got MLOK at hand for light, laser, and grip options. Weight lands around 8 lb unloaded, enough to keep the muzzle steady. Not enough to make you hate stairs. The payoff isn't just compactness, it's how the weight sits back toward your shoulder, making target transitions quick and sight picture stubbornly stable. For anyone who lives around vehicles, door frames, or crowded spaces, the Hellion delivers rifle performance in a footprint that plays nice with the real world. IWI Tavor X95. The X95 is the bullpup that finally convinced a lot of AR shooters to quit making excuses. It runs a long-stroke gas piston, think AK-style drive with Israeli pragmatism, so the impulse is smooth, and the action doesn't care if you're shooting dusty or wet. The heart of its appeal is geometry. The mass sits close to your shoulder, which makes the muzzle stubborn about staying on target. A 16 barrel in an overall package around 26 Nm gives you carbine velocity without the fishing pole feel. The trigger, long a bullpup sore spot, breaks a clean 5-6 pounds, and the controls are ambidextrous, from the safety to the mag release. While Stanag AR-15 magazines keep your kit simple, on the rail side, you've got real estate up top for red dot plus magnifier, and rails at 369 o'clock live under the handguard panels so you can attach a light without shredding your hands. The X95's vibe is workmanlike, not flashy, but brutally efficient at fast transitions, CQB positions around vehicles, and keeping recoil where it belongs, straight back. If you want a bullpup that behaves like a duty rifle, this is the one that shows up and punches the clock. CZ Bren 3. The Bren 3 feels like it was built for bad weather and worse roads. You're looking at fully ambidextrous AR-style controls, a non-reciprocating charging handle with swappable sides, and a chassis that invites hard use. The barrel choices run from 7 inches to 16.5 inches in 5.56 NATO, with 300 BLK options for short barrels and suppressed work. The system breathes through a multi-position gas regulator, so you can tune for ammo, altitude, or a can, then lock it in and forget it. CZ leans on durable materials and testing that meets NATO AC 225 D14 requirements, and that shows up in how the rifle shrugs off heat, sand, and salt. The extended forend is M-lock friendly without getting chunky, and the top rail keeps optics true when you move from red dots to LPVOs. In hand, the Bren 3 has that European duty first feel, slick enough to run fast, overbuilt enough to survive negligence. If your map includes deserts, docks, or downpours, this is a rifle that treats harsh conditions like a Tuesday. Palmetto State. Armory keeps cranking out rifles that ordinary folks can actually afford to shoot. The JAKL takes the AR idea and goes long-stroke piston, with a monolithic upper that resists flex and a folding. Adjustable stock that makes trucks and tight closets less annoying. The charging handle rides to the rear in the 2.0 update. Spring-loaded and quieter to snag. And barrel swaps got simpler, so you can move between 5.56 NATO and 300 BLK without a toolbox meltdown. What you feel on the line is a rifle that settles quick and doesn't gas you out under a can. The VUK leans the other direction, more AK heritage in its bones, but with smart AR cross-compatibility where it helps. AR-15 fire control, improved mag release with push-down or push-out mechanics, and a relocated charging handle that behaves like a traditional Kalashnikov. A 4.5mm trunnion opens the door for solid stock options, while the lower handguard and sights were redesigned to be less blocky and more practical with accessories. Together, JAKL and VUK sketch PSA's thesis: build rifles that combine AK toughness, AR ergonomics, and stateside parts flow, so the working shooter gets reliability without a boutique price tag. The JAKL 2.0 is Palmetto's answer to, can I have AR familiarity with piston stamina? Short version, yes. The 2.0 update brings a proprietary lower, a new AXR folding, adjustable stock, and a rear position. Spring-loaded charging handle that's less snaggy in and out of vehicles. Under the skin, it stays long-stroke gas piston, so it runs cooler and cleaner than a direct impingement AR, and it's offered in 5.56, NATO, and 300 BLK for folks who split time between supersonic work and suppressed subsonic drills. Barrel swaps got simpler, which means the rifle grows with your use case instead of locking you in. In hand, the JAKL 2.0 balances like a modern carbine, but the recoil path feels straighter, and the gas settings let you tune it so the bolt doesn't outrun your magazines. For Texas-style truck duty or range days that go long, this is the budget-sane rifle that still gives you the runs when dirty confidence you buy piston guns for. Ruger Mini 14 and 300 BLK variant. Some rifles win with features. The Mini 14 wins with time. Its Garand-style operating system is simple, overbuilt, and honest, which is why you still see it on ranches and in pickup racks decades on. Ruger's modern tweaks: tapered barrels, improved gas system, integral scope bases, and a Picatinny option quieted those old accuracy complaints while keeping the rifle's friendly handling. The new 300 blackout chambering adds real utility for suppressed use and heavier bullets, while the classic 223 latch 5.56 Mini keeps the ranch rifle charm quick to shoulder, easy to live with, and downright reliable on a bad weather day. You won't get AR-level modularity, but you will get a rifle that dislikes drama and runs clean with minimal pampering. If you're the kind who respects serviceability over fashion, the Mini 14 remains the dependable handshake you can still count on. The PWS UXR is the science fair kid who actually brought a working project. Its claim to fame is a patent-pending swap system that lets you change mission sets by exchanging just 3 parts: the barrel, bolt head, and magazine well. Day 1 offerings cover 5.56 NATO, 300 BLK, and 308 Win, and the chassis is friendly to the parts you already love: AR pattern grips and most AR triggers. Up top, a 3-position adjustable gas keeps the long-stroke piston honest across ammo types and suppressor use, and the overall layout stays rigid, so optics hold 0 when you yank the barrel for a caliber change. The pitch is simple: 1 serialized core, multiple rolls, less duplication in your safe and spares kit. If you're the kind who plans for hunts in October and training in July without wanting 2 rifles, the UXR feels like the first truly modular platform that doesn't ask you to compromise on shootability or maintenance. Here's the straight talk. The AR-15 is a legend, but it isn't the only way to do American 5.56. Between bullpups that shrink the footprint, piston guns that stay clean when the day gets dirty, and modular rigs that change jobs without changing muscle memory, you've got real choices. Pick the rifle that fits your work, stock up on magazines and ammo, and train until the controls feel like reflex. Drop your pick in the comments. Which platform would you trust over a vanilla AR, and why, if you want a part 2 with side-by-side recoil, heat, and reliability tests? Say the word. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see y'all next time. Hold 'em down.